Hey, Brittany.
Hi, Cassie.
Hey, Snarkers. Welcome back to the Snarking Lot. Hey, what's up?
Nailed the opening.
Thank you. Season
There's a lot of
two, baby.
pre-stress jitters here, if everybody doesn't know. Would we remember how to do this?
What do we remember? We've been on hiatus, but we're back. We are back. I just made up a song. Like I was gonna do it to a real song, and then I changed it.
It's good. We don't need a copyright infringement right out the gate.
That's right. Exactly right. You don't need that. How's it going? What's up? How excited are you for season two?
Good. It's going to be titillating.
Should we play a quick game of how many beautiful adjectives can we rattle off? Titillating.
Titillating.
Scintillating.
Mm-hmm. Oscillating.
Compelling.
Depressing? No, probably not.
Riveting. Thought-provoking.
Yeah. Yeah. Wishful thinking?
Engaging.
Oh, God. I didn't know we turned to corporate speak.
We did. We did. We turned a corner, now we can turn it back. It's fine. Yeah, we did. We did go there.
Synergizing. Synergizing.
Well, now you're just taking it to a dark place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of corporate PTSD if you're in that world.
Well, it's been a bit, like quite literally.
In a minute.
And then some world stuff happened.
Hmm.
To get a little context as to when we're recording this. How many days? 4?
Yep.
4 since the 2024 U.S. presidential election. So that's where we're at in time. Um, which then let's just go right there. Let's do the mental health check. Everyone around here knows we do a mental health check every episode. How are we doing?
Nothing will fundamentally change. But
Positive attitude.
uh-huh.
It's an affirmation if I ever heard one.
Yeah, how about you?
Doing fantastic.
Mm-hmm. What a
Great.
diplomatic answer.
Doing great.
Never been better.
Really convincing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You should have gone to Juilliard, that acting job. Oof.
Thank you. Yeah, top notch. No, is it cool to pop antidepressants like they're candy, or is that a problem?
Only if you name each one as you do
Oh,
it. But then again,
okay.
I'm a Gemini, so I have a lot of personalities, supposedly. Or dark
Supposedly.
Kermit and darker Kermit. I don't know.
Dark. Yeah,
Shoulders.
true. Good point. I'm a Virgo, so
Yeah,
in the
you
in
just
the
take each
quest for
one.
perfectionism.
Yeah. That's why you take each one and you're like, come on, Lucille, let's do something today. Come on, Edna, this one's for you. I don't know. They're all old lady
Did you
names at this
just
point.
name 2 of your personalities, Lucille and Edna?
No, I'm naming your pills after old ladies.
Oh, I thought those were your personalities.
No, it's Dark Kermit and Darker Kermit.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. All right. Well,
And I'll blame some others, whatever.
okay. All
Hmm.
right.
Hmm.
Doing great. Feeling fantastic. And I know you are too. We're in a time space continuum of awesome.
Hmm. Hmm.
I've said this before. Um, I am largely staying off social media.
Why?
To some limited
Why are you
extent.
doing that?
Why would I do
Why would you do
that?
that?
It's such a healthy place for dialogue, you know?
Sit back, grab the popcorn,
Yeah,
scroll and
and then
laugh.
and then I want to take the popcorn bowl and, you know, throw it.
Yeah, it is. It's a
So
bit depressing.
it's been a bit
Watching.
it's been a bit depressing to watch the world fight with each other, my
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I
People
stay
be
away
like,
from
oh,
it.
you were so close to getting up. Nope.
Nope, there we are.
Oh,
Right? Like the
you're in the right direction. Oh, and then you veered off. Nope.
yeah, yeah, yep. So I go on there to post some cat pics, maybe some pictures of my Starbucks, and then go back out. You
Yeah,
know,
well,
it's how I'm
I
using it now.
you're absolutely you're right.
I took one diversion to post. I don't know if you saw this, a news story about how historians say that the ever wise Democrats should have listened to Bernie Sanders. To which I was like, yes. And I just captioned it recurring theme. Um,
Yeah, but then if you have to do something, how are you going to fundraise off the promise of doing something?
Great question.
Or if you
It was
have,
delightful.
or if you have, the crypt keeper who once stood in front of her fridge eating really expensive ice cream. Sorry, her two fridges that cost $12,000 a piece, and is like, "Well, never listen to Bernie. He's not right on things." Like, I don't know why would this go wrong?
Why would there be a problem? Why would there be a problem? Like what is this? Oh, we're going right into spicy land, I guess. It should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class people have abandoned them. And I posted
Yeah.
that, reposted it with a little fire emoji.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of my quick diversions in and diversions back out. But that's
Mm-hmm.
my true thoughts on some stuffs. This is me for people who are only listening. I'm dancing.
She's also not trademarked that. She's making up her own. Don't worry, everybody. Or sorry, we're not getting a copyright infringement on that either.
No, we don't risk it. Much like Rogan didn't risk it during the Trump interview. He didn't post any clips,
That's what they'll just sell out one way or another.
you know?
Or you part of the uniparty. It's so just like, oh, that's why you don't hero worship everybody. Come on.
Easy. All right. Well, we're kind of doing it already, but we just want to be like, what's new? It's been a few months. What's new? How are we feeling about the world? How are we feeling about life in the elder millennial land that we live in as us old people? Since we last recorded, I turned 37 years old. Um, so
How does that feel compared to 36?
it's absolutely no different. Feels like nothing has changed. So aside from the fact that I probably have also gained 5 pounds since we last real talk, since we last recorded. Um, I'm wearing, if you are watching, Brittany knows this is my resident 15-year-old, no, 20-year-old Wisconsin sweatshirt, University of Wisconsin sweatshirt, my lucky sweatshirt that has rips in the sleeves. So I look like I've showered, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Insert sarcasm.
Mhm.
Have I? Maybe. But do I look like it with my ratty sweatshirt? No, that's how I'm doing.
Well, it makes you feel any better. My dad still has sweatshirts that have not just made it out for yard work anymore. They're still being worn more than that from the Rose Bowls and not the 99 one.
Not the 99. My dad
The
has a
early,
99er that I
the
remember very
early
specifically.
90s Badger Rose Bowls.
Or 93?
So you want to talk holy
Yeah,
things.
my dad's
It's
got
like,
a 93.
what's the point of that? Just wear the old brewery one your brother got you from like the early 2000s. Upgrade a bit.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, so you just have to get to that part. Let's see this one make it another 15
Or
years. Let's
it'll
look at
make
I
it.
just wonder what the condition of it will be in then.
Yeah, really, it's quite fine, except for the
I mean, it
suite.
is held up. The rest of it structurally is held up. You
Yeah,
would never
structurally
know.
is fine. It's
Yeah.
just the,
Yeah.
this is taking a little hit. But that's it.
Right. Which you could even just sew that right back up together and
Don't talk to me about sewing. I don't do
I
that
could
shit.
do, I could do it. Just amend it. Just turn it out.
You could. I try to teach
Good.
myself how to sew. I suck at it. So
That was easy. Just straight up. You can do it. You mean I have to, considering where we're heading. So
how elder millennial are you?
4-H level elder millennial. That's your damn right.
4-H level. From like
Sewing.
speaking of 1999.
Yo, yeah.
Speaking
Photography,
of
sewing, and
1999.
horses. Who the hell didn't do that for 9 years and
Photography
4-H?
and cats right here.
Hey,
So hey, here's some blue ribbons, some grand champion cats right here. Brittany remembers when I wore this sweatshirt, though, back to the sweatshirt. Like there was a key string of days of wearing it.
it was
When the
springtime.
when the Badger men's basketball team was winning in the NCAA tournament. And so I decided that I was not gonna like take it off until they lost. And so I literally wore it to county board meetings when I was a reporter, like under my dress jacket, or school board meetings under my dress jacket. Um,
It was
and
pretty
everything.
amazing. Like Tim Gunn would have been proud if there's how many ways can you style a Wisconsin sweatshirt while still being professional? Like
Yeah,
how can you work it into the
yeah,
wardrobe? And while you're acting as if you're on a seafaring ship in 1752, where you have
yeah.
one outfit only to get you through
I had one outfit only, and it was
weeks.
this. Been through a lot together because they were very successful in that tournament that year. So,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know. Mm, mm. Oh, Facebook memories, Brittany. Speaking of elder millennial life, I'm starting to get a lot of 15-year memories
Oh,
now, which are gross to me because I talk like I'm a moron. But it was around this time 12 years ago. Um, 12-year anniversary where I told you I took my globe to the circus.
hmm. Hmm. And that, kids, is how the Illuminati was born.
Correct.
Yeah, for anybody who thinks
So,
journalism is just like, oh, go get an interview very quickly and
no,
then
no,
go write a bunch of things in a paper. No, you
uh-uh,
too could
no.
take your globe to the circus.
You could throw a globe in the back seat of your turquoise Toyota Yaris and go do something legit with it and then frolic your little butt over. And it was littler at that time, so that is quite factual. You frolic your little butt over to a circus that is also happening in the community and take photos and then go back to the office and drop the globe off and go home. So,
Take that, New York Times.
suck it.
Suck it.
Suck it. What's the most elder millennial thing you've seen or heard lately, do you think? Where is like something like resonated with you where you're like, yep, that's me. That fits my generation.
Oh, God. What the hell was it? There's been a lot when I've opened TikTok recently, like
Ooh.
parents showing their kids something from like the 90s and the kids being like, what? Like old
Right?
commercials or
Yeah.
old stuff or just
Yeah.
showing them pictures of things and the kids being like, what? Like old, like I'm thinking like CD players and stuff or just other things. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
no, like the little, I don't know. There was one, I forget what it was. They were filming it and the kid it came on the TV and the kids were watching it and they were just like turning to look back at the parents like the herbal essences commercial, I think was one of them, where you're like, wow, like people are having orgasmic experiences around shampoo. And like that's just played on TV. Or like, what the hell was that crime show? There was a montage of it. Oh my God, it's gonna drive me nuts. The dude, he had the beard and he did one of the crime shows. He's like, "Have you ever been blah blah blah?" And he asks, he's like, "Really? Oh
What are
Jesus."
you talking about?
Oh my God, he was on. I was like, "Oh, I used to watch those all the
Was it
time."
Unsolved Mysteries
Oh, it might have been. He's
or
had like
Rescue 911?
he had, damn it. I gotta look it up now.
I'm actually like scrolling through right now as we're talking the I am 30AF Instagram account because I
Oh,
know I
that's a
saw like two really funny things on here where I was like, yes. There's such funny things on here. There's such funny on here. Oh man. Okay, so okay, well here's one. Here's one for you. This is very brief and not what I was looking for, but I'm starting to think living in your mid-30s is almost exclusively about how well and how often you can manage tummy issues.
that's fair.
I relate to that,
That's
you know.
fair. That's really fair.
Have I been eating entire containers of ice cream in one sitting in the last 2 weeks? Absolutely. Does that relate to that tummy comment?
I was gonna
Absolutely.
say, I feel like that would
You
be,
know,
you better not be venturing. You never not be venturing too far away then from the bathroom.
yeah,
That
you
is
never
a
know
ticking
when
time
it's gonna
bomb.
hit. It is. It's delicious in the moment, and then you're like, whoa, you know? You're like,
Yeah,
wow.
no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh yeah. Well, we should see if we can do this. Rename your favorite film to a clickbait YouTube title. And the example they give is a rat cooked my food and I liked it? Triple question mark. Emotional. Yeah. That's a good one to think about. I think we should come back to that one in a future episode because I got a lot of hot takes
Oh
for that
yeah.
idea. I mean, have you been seeing what as I had my two Starbucks today? Like I told you, I had two Starbucks. Um, I thought to myself, wow, if I hadn't had these Starbucks, I would have been able to buy that house, I guess. So
Yeah.
shame on me. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was my literal thought. I was like, oh, this $12, that was the make or break moment, and I screwed it up. You know,
You did. You
I
did.
did. I really screwed it up.
That'll affect the interest rates. You did. You did it to yourself.
Yeah, I did do it to myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, you could
mhm,
have bought half an egg with that. Come on.
mm. Oh, what did I see? Other millennial style. Oh, if you had one of these boom boxes as a kid, you knew you made it or whatever, and like one of the silver ones in three parts, that had like these speakers like attached on the side and the middle, had like the cassette and the CD
Oh yeah.
in there. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I had that. I had that. And then it's like if you had this couch, like, you grew up like in the late 80s in the 90s, and it's like one of my grandma's cut like the orange and brown, and it has like outdoor scenes on it, and it has like the wooden armrests.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, yeah, that's from my early 90s experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like breaking my neck, like if I fall asleep, like taking a nap on the edge, like I fall asleep on the wood without a pillow. Then I have a headache when I wake up.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Childhood.
Just all the garish, the remnants of a mid-century modern. and ate like 70s furniture.
Yeah, definitely.
Slowly fading out of style in the 90s, but like not quite all the way there. So yes, especially likely at your grandparents' house or just
Yep.
if your house had any hand-me-downs from your grandparents' house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did was the baby spit orange really the one we had to go with? Like, was the
Right.
dog shit green the best choice for the couch? Okay.
Was it? At the time, yes.
Sure. It adds flair to the room.
Flash forward to today, we were in Home Depot. Not literally today, but like today as
Mhm.
in today's universe. In Home Depot and have a new fridge, $2,500. Samsung fridge. Beautiful turquoise. You know how I feel about turquoise.
Oh
Beautiful
yeah.
turquoise, but shiny, you know. But like, think about that. In 40 years, people are gonna look back at that and go, "What retro piece of crap is that?"
Yeah.
You know, isn't that bizarre to think about?
Yeah. Well, in a few years, people are going to be like, what the fuck, millennial gray and beige and white, which I mean,
Beige and white,
yeah.
clean colors.
Yeah. I'm not opposed though to some nice accent wall color or just like some rooms. Like I get it, light makes it look bigger and like
Yeah,
lighter, but I'm like, yeah, but like a dark blue or like a blood red in a room, like not the main room, but like another room, like, looks
yeah,
cool as shit. Or
you're
like
into
just an
that.
accent wall, like something,
You
something.
know
Also
what's that?
because like everything's white, I'm like the dirt.
There-
If we're gonna
I
go gray, let's make it gray. Like let's go dark.
let's
Let's
do
make
it.
it like let's paint it like my soul. Like don't give me that light airy shit.
It's like a spaceship.
Yeah, make it like like a lair. Like I want my
Like a
lair, my
lair.
hideout. Like don't give
Love it.
me happy. I don't need that.
Don't nobody needs that. Oh, and this is how I knew I was like, here's another way I knew I was old in the last few days. Um, they showed someone was showing a clip from news coverage of the 2008 election, which mind you, flashback, we're watching the returns in our dorm room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like in
Mm-hmm.
college. And like the clip looked like it came out of the 90s in terms
Yes.
of quality. And I was like,
Yes.
that was 2008.
Yes. I have seen ones from like the early 2000s even, especially like shit after like, September 11th or 2004, like
Yes.
and all the shit. And you're like, oh my God, what Vietnam War era looking shit is this? And you're like,
Thank
oh,
you.
that was still in this
It
millennium,
was like George
this century.
Stephanopoulos from 2008, and it looked like it was like circa 1992.
Yeah.
I'm like, what
Just
is
even the
happening?
stickers that go across, and you're like, oh, what like old
Yeah,
ass was that?
for
Oh,
sure.
ugh,
I
brother,
was bothered.
ugh.
I was bothered
Yeah.
by how I
But
felt when I
the
saw that.
graphics, like the graphics back then, and just the audio and everything, and you're like, whoa. So yeah, I do think about that too, like because you watch old movies and old
Right.
shows and stuff, and you're like, God, this was like good audio and cool to you, and I'm like, well, good God, like they got 3D shit and CGI everything now, but like look at the advancements in that. So even in like 15, 20 years, people are gonna be watching
Exactly.
this today, like, and they're gonna be like, oh, look at your little primitive. Look at your primitive
AI
little Mario.
generated. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Oh, that's cute. Oh,
Right?
grayed out everything. Oh,
I know.
or just like, yeah, what's that with the high definition stuff that keeps getting more and more? And yeah, all the
Yes.
AI stuff, thanks to Palantir and Peter Thiel. Whoops.
Wait, what?
Just, no matter what happens in the White House, like still hurtling toward that. So yeah, think about what that'll look like in your everyday life.
Oh, speaking of the White House, how are we feeling about the world? How are we feeling about the state of the world before we talk about other stuff? Generally speaking, how are we feeling what's going
Uh,
on in the universe?
Same as before the election. I've got to be honest for myself. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, you should be honest.
it's just one part of the unit party over the other. Still keep everybody distracted. The shit behind the scenes, the insidious shit's still gonna happen.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But I'm sure you posting how you're gonna fight tomorrow and then not do anything till 4 years from now when you go cast your meaningless vote again is doing your civic duty is really gonna change shit for everybody that you pretend to care about in your groups.
Ooh, as she
Oops.
sips out of her snarking lot
Oops.
mug. As she takes a little sippy sip out of her snarking lot mug to really
Yeah.
show how she feels about life. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I
I don't
mean, there are people. There are people cheering those like fucking robot dogs walking around. I forget if it's Mar-a-Lago or one of the other things. There's people cheer the same people who are like, oh, down with the surveillance and the police state and the freedom and are like, let's fucking go. There's those robot dogs. And I was like, oh, good. Like they've already been deployed overseas to practice. Like, what do you think it's your next protest for whatever you believe in and want to protest? What the fuck do you think is gonna show up? Because, they can do more than humans can do. So,
have I ever mentioned before about how scared I am about AI?
oh, it's fucking terrifying. And, Palantir has contracts, and guess who's now going to get more contracts? The military. And guess who's going to get more contracts? Other companies and social media. So also too, for everyone's like, I don't want the government fringing and spying on me, which is what people should, that would be the correct take. Uh, Newsflash.
When are we moving again?
Well, the good news is eventually it won't even matter. But yeah, I don't know.
But I mean,
Somewhere remote.
that'd be sweet, you know?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I just am like, whatever.
It's
Which
just
to be honest for myself, which does not sound great, probably, but that's just kind of mm, yep.
well, I'd also like it if people are gonna pretend to dissect the results. I'm like, first off, no math, number one. Nope, like know the math. To be able to do math, not know math.
Yeah,
Like,
be able
no
to
math.
actually do math. Yes.
Like if you're gonna show the breakdown of votes and then blame let's say a third party person, make sure that the votes they got at adding up to your team's votes would actually be above another person's. Like,
Yeah, I actually in my cursory only had to do one math class in college, did some quick head math as I was looking at the returns and was like, "Oh yeah, that mattered exactly 0% this time."
well,
So,
that and I mean, again, both sides of the uniparty do it. It's like newsflash. Not everybody voting for somebody else would vote for your candidate if they didn't have the choice to vote for somebody else. They would merely skip it, write themselves in, or not vote at all. Like
mm,
they're not. Oh, you should not assume. Don't assume those are all coming to whoever your candidate is. Also, but yeah, it's just like, wow, really? Oh, well, that shouldn't be shocking. God forbid. Yeah, God forbid you shouldn't be calling to burn down a party and fix it. No, we'll just further blame things that we'll just blame things that had nothing to do with it.
good call.
We just didn't lean hard enough into terrible policies or just lack of policies. We gotta fix that for next time. Like, oof. It's like you gotta be I don't know. I suppose it's several people. I'm like, do you think it's on purpose because they don't care? Or are you just that bad at things?
So, because we're on the snarking lot, I'm going to give my real opinion
Yeah. Go
on
goody.
some things. Okay. So, I've talked a few times in the past about the lack of um, economic policy inclusion in a particular party's platform. The
Mhm.
party that thinks they do it, but don't. And so I took a brief break from my, hey, I'm not really doing social media to post kind of a quote about my true thoughts, which is this. It should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class has abandoned now, Brittany, because we talked about this, you know who said that.
Mhm.
But I'll give the audience a moment to think about who may have said that. Bernie Sanders. So yeah, when you don't feel a friend I was talking to this week, talking about feeling a sense of belonging and feeling heard, when your circumstances, when you don't feel as though your circumstances are being heard, everything's gonna happen. You can yell racism, sexism, ism all you want, but you know, when interest rates are high and you can't afford groceries, childcare, healthcare, all the things, um, the person who is nuts but says things that
Yep.
relate to your circumstance, what are you gonna do?
Well, what do you have to lose? Things are shit.
Right?
What the fuck? Like, again, I just want to go for people who like to compare to World War II for some reason. I'm like, well, you must have missed the part at the beginning. Post World War One, where Germany was sanctioned out of their fucking minds and things were destitute. What created a vacuum? What the fuck did you think was going to happen? And there's been many other places where that's also been the case, including in the US in the past, but history. Um,
Which tag?
but yeah, I'm just like that's why
Right.
I just sat back and like people were stressing about returns night up, and I was like, I'm gonna go watch other things because I mean, either
Yeah,
way, this is shit. But like, maybe this would be a chance for a party to like do some introspection. I don't think it's gonna happen
it's
because
already not happening, Brittany.
no, I mean, because you just right away blame stuff or the I just they didn't learn before, and I was like, no, running the 2016 terrible campaign part two, like, yeah, that's gonna change, and just I mean, a whole number of things where even before that, like leading up to this, and I'm like,
Right.
what the fuck did you expect? And
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's a
mean,
good
it's also
question.
part of the plan is keep everybody divided at the bottom. That's been the plan for decades on end. So yeah, keep
It's very
things really
effective.
bad so people have to worry about day-to-day stuff.
Yeah,
And they're gonna tune out anything
yeah.
around people who have some, I think, very rightful grievances or fears about how they live their lives and what can happen or what could
Yeah.
happen down the road. Like keep everybody,
Boop. This is
yep,
everyone who's listening. That's a hand signal for separation
on
happening right
right
now.
on the sides or pointing the fingers and you care about
Yeah.
this but not me. Well, you care about this without me. And again, I go back to and the people at the top in the dark in the back who just decide, well, we're gonna move this one forward ahead of this one, fucking win every time. Keep them all distracted while we pull the real strings, move towards the Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, like it.
Mhm.
And yeah, and also like people don't understand economic policies, like and corporate greed and like the lack of the willingness to do something about it from either part of the uniparty, either side of it. Like, but again, somebody comes in and it's very much like in 2008. People were sick of the wars, prices were going up on things, and somebody came in with not a lot of policy, but said stuff, and you're like, fuck it. We'll give it a try. Cause what like,
Sounds good. Yep.
yeah, what if it get fine, we'll go somewhere else in 4 years, but like fuck it. Worth a shot, worth a change.
Yes.
Like, and again has happened. This is not the first time in history, not the first place where it's happened.
And certainly not the last,
No. And I'm just
because
like,
history keeps repeating itself.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, for either side of the party, of the same party, there are going to be people you will never win over. Sure. But there's a lot of people, the biggest block of voters in this country are non-voters who see
Yes.
this shit for the charade for what it is and are like things are
Forget
fucked
it. Forget it.
no matter
Yeah.
what. Like things
Unpopular
are,
opinions happening right now on the Snarking Lot, everyone.
well, I just want to I just have to laugh at right away. I was like, oh, people who cared about border stuff and not deporting people. Number one, it's been happening for many administrations. Number two, people are now trying to like contact ICE to turn in people they think voted for somebody they didn't like. And I was like, oh, okay, so now you're pro that. Oh, you wanted to abolish the cops, but you voted for one, the top cop of California in the Blue Party. Like, cool. That's good.
Ooh,
How
ooh.
many dead women and children did you step over from Palestine and around the world to cast your vote for? I mean, for either one of them, if you voted for one of the two sides of the uniparty. Like, again, like everybody suspends their morals for something, or, a lot of people do for different things. Whatever, that's your prerogative. But to point everything and be like, well, it's this and it's this and it's this, it's this ism. It's like,
It
oh,
is. Correct.
okay. Well, a lot of people voted for other people who also suspended other morals and did this, or, again, voted because they're like,
Mhm.
it's not that I don't care about the social stuff, but like, yeah, I'm fucking worried about rent or whatever. And
Yeah.
again, was it really promised? No, from either side, but something different. And he's already had been in there once. Like, he's not that scary. People know
Yeah,
what they're doing.
well, he's been very normalized.
Well,
He is
and
the least
yes,
normalized person in
yes,
the world right now.
yes. But people, I mean, people are like, well, fuck it, at least gonna try. Or they remember the very brief part during COVID where shit like stuff went down, and then, it was already costs were high, and then quick went down, and then
Yeah,
we're always gonna go back up. But
totally.
yeah, also, I don't know, maybe don't have your fucking empty vestibule of a person wandering around who, again, as I've said before, only went left as we were assured could be pushed left once he got in. And
Right.
the only time he went left is when he wandered that way off stage. Like, you knew he wasn't going to be fit for it.
Snarkle
And
Lot.
I firmly believe if COVID was not a thing, Trump would have won a second term in 2020. They were only able to,
Mm,
again, make empty promises, which is why another party won.
that's such a good, like, I don't know if I've heard that in a while. That's a really good point.
Because we
I
don't
think
want
that's
to have
fair.
to pretend that, because they can't,
That's totally
they
fair.
were going to fix things. COVID, and it's a scary time. And oh my God.
Right.
And he took the baton on Operation Warp Speed and ran with it right from Trump. He deported more people. And then companies started price gouging and everybody's shit got worse. And, you know, through ego or whatever, refused to step aside. I'm like, I don't know. What did you think with under 100 days of campaigning?
He was supposed to be a transitional president.
Yeah, well, he waited too long. Your candidate didn't have enough time. Your candidate that then you had no primary for, who dropped out before the first primary last time because she spent the most money and still didn't get any votes, because even her own fucking state she was going to lose in the
Well,
primary.
hey, when we were listening to Returns, like the moment where reality was like, here's what is when they couldn't call the East Coast states. Like they just like automatically call the East Coast states for Democrats like so fast all the time. It was
Mhm.
not happening. I mean, ultimately still won, but like couldn't call it because the math didn't, yeah, yet, which
Well, and
was
there's
crazy.
just overall fewer votes cast.
Exactly. Yeah, turnout
Fewer
was high.
votes cast. All the money spent and fewer votes cast. Because again, more people were just like, F this shit, F this system.
Yeah, but else, I
Time
know.
to create community, time to find your community and work beyond that shit, because that's who you're gonna be able to rely on. Certainly not whoever's in the White House. And
I'm
do
a
what you
sucker
can.
for a person who at least appears like they care about the working class, which is why I've been a sucker for Tim Walz. And like when asked like what his greatest accomplishment, what he thinks his greatest accomplishment is, Minnesota pauses exactly 0 seconds and says, free breakfast and lunch for kids in schools. Like it's stuff like
Well,
that where it's like,
yep.
what are our priorities? It's like you don't even blink an eye, you don't have anything like no political motivation. Like there's no like I have to think about this so that I say like the right, like the right thing. It's just like no.
The talking, the bit, the
Yeah.
clip. Or again, you don't have any policies that you can point to right away, that you again don't have as a list, like you're being interviewed. Like you always have kind of your key list of projects or things you've done that you can kind of point to, so that whatever question is asked, you can pull from something on that as like a tangible thing people can think about. What's hers? oh, I locked up more black men in California for weed legalization, weed things because you know what? We needed slave labor to go fight wildfires, by the way, which didn't pass in California, which got defeated by, I believe,
Yeah.
100,000 votes, slavery. So your blue state, your blue fucking shit, because again, this is people in there for minor things can be used for labor, for prison labor. They didn't defeat it. So still have slavery in 2024.
Can we can we just for a second recognize like how hot out of the gate you're coming for season 2, episode
Oh
1
my
of Snarking
God.
Lot?
I
You are
just
giving the podcast its name right
well, I
now.
just gotta go. Well, also I go look at some of the other things when you and again it happens every year, no matter the national results of things. Like there are measures that I wish would pass in places, but then there are other measures where they are voted completely opposite, or places you wouldn't think would do it completely opposite. Missouri, for example, went red, but voted for increased, I believe it was minimum wage and paid sick time or paid leave or something,
They
sick
did.
time. I
That is
forget
right.
what.
I did see that.
So things that, I mean, again, just should be general good things for people, but I suppose people call them liberal or leftist or whatever.
Socialist.
Yes,
Yes.
things passed in a state that went pretty much all red.
Yep.
How? So how? Look at that.
Economics.
I mean, weed legalization, marijuana legalization happens often in states where it's a different color than what actually like what the
Yeah.
things are, where the electoral votes go, or just any kind of thing. Like a lot of other things happen. So it's like, wow,
Yeah.
no, these policies are actually good,
Yeah.
or like at least resonate with people.
Paid
Weird.
leave. It's an economic. It relates to your economic circumstance.
Yeah.
That's how and
I
why.
bet if you campaigned on that, probably probably go for that. Like people would probably go for you then, if that's what resonates. Like if you look at that, instead of scolding groups of people, that if you like looked at what actually happens or looked at what people are saying like actually matters to them, usually the
Hmm.
economy is pretty far up there.
Yeah. Sanders leads with it. I don't know if we talked about this on when we last in our last season, like because I went to a Sanders event locally. Um, he's super respectful of like the other side as well, while being the democratic socialist that he is. Like he's like, here's what I recognize out of the other side, right? I'm putting air quotes around the other side, but and then his argument is always economic, working class economic,
Well,
period.
and even if you don't like the policies, you at least could name, most people could name them. I had a friend last time and I told her she should do it again this time, and I was like, it's gonna be even worse. She didn't, but last time in 2020 a lot of very smart good people, and so she put the kind of a random poll out, and I knew it was going to happen, and she was absolutely floored. She put the poll out kind of on, I think it was on Facebook, and said, and this is when Biden was going to be the nominee, and said, without naming Trump, talking about Trump, tell me a policy or a stance, like a good thing you like about Biden.
But
Like, give me and people couldn't do it. It was all, well, we
of
have to
course
defeat Trump. Couldn't do it. And I said,
course
yes,
they
see?
couldn't.
And you go to his, I said, go to his website. There's nothing there. Whereas again, you go to Bernie's or some, third party candidates even, and there are
Yeah, it's a full
things that
platform.
you don't at least you don't have to like them or agree with them, but you at least know, okay, I don't like them because I did this, or I don't think that's going to work, or I do like them because X, Y, and Z.
Right.
It's not just all
Totally.
rhetoric. I feel like again, you could probably have run the same thing this time too. You like
Totally.
or that was always the thing. Well, people don't like Bernie, or oh God, he doesn't have good talking points because like he talks about policies, a policy wonk. It doesn't sound cool in debates. Like we can't clip it. And I was like, yeah, because it's not sexy to like talk about
Like
people's needs.
no
Like,
facts.
right. You
Yeah.
just have to have a word salad like Pete Buttplug and Kamala, like just word salads of stuff. Like what, why? Or even by like all of them, like just word salads of things that have no meaning and are vapid, or going on the View and being asked what you would change or what you would do, what you would change from the last,
The current administration. Yeah.
yeah, which you're part of, and you being like, I can't think of one thing. As again, people are struggling for stuff like, yeah, okay, so people are like, oh, good, so we know nothing's gonna change with her, get any, or it's gonna get worse. So again, fuck it, let's try this other person. Could also get worse, but have nothing to lose because we're already struggling. Things are already terrible. Like,
No,
this
right?
is out of control.
This is out of control.
Like, it's not
Yeah.
that hard. Like, it shouldn't, it's just, that's why I'm like,
You
it's
know what
so
my
weird.
dream was? I feel like you probably know my dream. So like obviously I'm a big Tim Russert fan, R.I.P. Tim. Um, like in his whiteboard, like on election nights and stuff. So I just missed him in general on election return nights. But you have a whiteboard. My dream for Bernie always was that he would get a big whiteboard during a debate and he would actually do like healthcare math for people and actually like go like deductible copays and like actually explain because I don't think people actually like legitimately understand like how private insurance works,
No.
right? Because he
What
he throws around rightfully like your deductible, your copay, like all of that. But I don't think a good chunk of the population like really understands that versus the amount it would be to tax people to provide them some sort of publicly funded health insurance, right?
he did, I think he had something on his website, like a thing where you could enter some of the costs and it would calculate
Yeah.
and show you. But yeah, exactly. And again, why? Why aren't they ever going to allow that? Because then it's dangerous because people be like, oh shit. Well, fuck that. What the fuck? Like, it becomes a problem then because it's going to speak to many people of all backgrounds.
When I was at that event, he asked people to yell out what their deductibles were. And so people are like 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. I yell 7,000. Now I have a caveat there, but like for all intents and purposes, what's on a piece of paper for my plan is 7,000. And literally, a lady next to me, swearing alert, was like, "Holy shit, 7,000?" to
Oh
me
yeah.
as I yelled it. I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like max out of pocket of, or like my past max out of
Yeah.
pocket was like $12,500. You're like, what? Yeah.
People pay
So,
out of ass for the privilege to maybe get part of something covered and still have to pay a lot to get up to that point. Like
you know what
that's
I
the
have on my
thing.
personal to-do list for this next week, for the first 2 days of this next work week, is to call my health insurance company and my health reimbursement account provider to like try to figure out some whatever you want to call it logistical nightmare. Um,
It's a
and we're all
full-time
okay
job.
with that.
It's a
It
full-time
is a
job to do
full-time
your
job.
own stuff because they don't talk to each other, they don't do anything. And that again, that's a problem. That's a problem when somebody comes out and actually talks about stuff and they can't have it, which is why the DNC conspired and kept him from sure that he would not win the primary in 2016. But
Yes.
which
Hey,
has
you
been
don't
proven
know what
by
I told?
WikiLeaks, who handed him everything he needed, and he was too much of a cock to do anything about it, just shepherded people into the Democratic Party. But like there's proof there. Why? Because he's dangerous. Why? Because he espouses policies and oh my God, might actually shit do stuff. Crap. What are we gonna fundraise on if we have to codify abortion when we have a fucking supermajority in 2008 in your first fucking part of your term when you get into office, Barack Obama? What are we gonna fucking run on then if we codify things and do stuff? How are we gonna set ourselves apart? What are we gonna fundraise on?
Right?
We might actually look different than the people that behind the scenes we are besties with.
Here's my hot take. You gave your hot take about that you think without COVID, Trump would have won in
Absolutely.
2020. Um, I personally believe that if Bernie would have had the opportunity to be the nominee in 2024, he would have wiped the floor with Trump.
Well,
Absolutely
yeah, you
wiped the
go
floor
back.
with him.
We've talked about this. Like, okay, he called him Crazy Bernie, like he was going to have more stuff, but he was the one that Trump least made fun of
Trump was scared of him. He was
in the
actually
primaries. And
there were reports that he was the most worried about Bernie.
well, exactly, he didn't want to call attention to him because
Yep.
then people would look at stuff or go look at the thing and be like, wait, like I'll never forget. I mean, I like the mainstream would like show basically the platform
Mhm.
and go through and berate it, but I was like, and then we're like, oh fuck, because they would show the bullet points and stuff, and people were like, hey, that doesn't sound that it doesn't sound that bad. Like, yeah, he purposely didn't go after him as much and didn't call attention to it because shitting himself from all his fast food behind the scenes in his boxy suits because oh fuck, like I with all my rhetoric, I now it's switched. Now he's going to talk about actual policy and I just have random word salads at places. And yeah, again, there's gonna be a
Hey, it's called the weave. I learned this now.
yeah.
Like the way he talks, he actually thinks it's a strategy called the weave.
Well,
So
everything is abstract if you want to make it that way.
everything
There's
is
there's
abstract.
you can name anything you want and call it a strategy. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. And so, but again, that was going to be a dangerous prospect to
Of course it
the
was.
powers being the DNC. They would rather lose as badly as, could possibly happen than actually do anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
that's so true.
every time they elect people who are not popular or like, choose them,
Yep.
as does the Republican. Like these are the people that the powers that be have chosen for you to have to choose between and stuff. And again, why people are just like, well, it sucks that I guess I'll just do it. I'm like, wow, at what point do you just torch the whole goddamn thing? Like, why is it acceptable? And they're like, oh God, I don't want to have to choose, especially after like the first debate. I was like, well, why aren't you pissed that this is what the system has told you are the best options in a country of 330 million people?
Air quote alert.
Yeah, these are who they put in front of you and pushed forward to give you as the choice. Like, and BlackRock and all the private ventures and venture capital and everybody else is just laughing anyways, because again, they know they win no matter what. I mean, her fucking brother-in-law runs what? Is it Uber or
No.
some shit?
Yeah. It's one of the like
Yeah,
the share services, yeah.
or something, or like, and was giving her policy advice and was like stepping in apparently and like telling her like for social media, oh, don't do that, or giving her economically, oh, don't do that, or don't say
Don't do
this.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Gee, huh.
Well, it worked well. So
It did. I mean, it was a flawlessly executed
flawlessly
thing,
executed campaign.
yeah, where you don't talk
Brittany,
about
I have to
it.
ask you, how do you really feel though? Like as we conclude this, how are we feeling about the world section? Like, how are you really feeling? Tell me how you really feel. I don't know
I
if I quite
feel that
understand.
I feel that it will keep going forward. Again, the dark powers that be will do anything. They don't give a shit. They'll just keep doing little things to pit people against each other while they pull the strings because
Yep.
the scariest thing is everybody coming together to be like, wait, fuck it. There's fewer of them than there are of us. That's the worst possible thing. They're terrified. They hate people. They're terrified of it. It's happening in Europe. It's happening all over. Again, it's happened in history. I would point out that Fred Hampton and Martin Luther King Jr. were assassinated and became mega problems when they started talking about class.
Mm,
I mean, there were
that's a
problems
great
the whole
point.
time, but like things accelerated by the CIA and the FBI because, well, actually, CIA killed Kennedy. The FBI for both of them. The FBI killed both of them. Um, they were a problem when they started talking about class, Vietnam War, Fred Hampton in Chicago,
Hmm.
because the people who were from the South or had some more Southern, like racist leanings, who would show up to Fred Hampton stuff and walk out being like, oh, huh, shit. Yeah, we're all getting fucked over, aren't we? And that was a problem.
Yeah.
So they always find a way to neutralize that. Again, whether they stack a primary or they push them off to the side or kill them or do whatever. Because again, what's most important? People at the top get richer. Wars will keep happening. I have to laugh. People are like, nothing happened under Trump, no new wars. And I was like, I don't know, assassinating an Iranian general who was fighting ISIS seems pretty bad, but letting Israel bomb Syria, again, this stuff in Israel has been happening for many, many, many administrations and will keep happening. Um, yeah, they'll probably get on Ukraine, but guess what? They're going to start a war with Iran. Um, things are still happening in Africa, Yemen, Sudan. Like the stuff will march on. As I said, Palantir, now with JD Vance being backed by Palantir and fucking ass Peter Thiel, like it's
Hmm.
contracts will get renewed. I mean, again, he backs Democrats as well. So that's what I mean when I say it doesn't fucking matter. The insidious shit will happen. Crypto, the digital currencies are coming in, social credits coming, where your actions will be monitored. You'll be allowed to go places based on the tracking and your social currency ties right into AI. Um, they've had reports come out that a lot of the AI technology can surveil or kind of get facial recognition up to 6 feet distance, which is so weird. That's the distance you were supposed to stay apart in COVID.
My God.
It's fucking insidious shit. And so again, as I sit here and I watch and I go, yeah, you're damn right. People are gonna, everyone's gonna lose rights no matter what. Like, it's scary shit. But do post how you know.
It's scary shit, I think is the new title of this
It's
episode.
scary shit. But yeah,
It's
go
scary
post how, oh,
shit.
you're mad today and you're gonna go do some self-care and then you'll fight tomorrow. And like I said, you post a couple times and not give a fuck until 4 years from now. And that goes for people voting for anybody. Like, do tell that's your prime to help. You're such an ally to the people who need it most. So my solution or my suggestion is mutual aid, find your community, start
Oh,
learning how to
yeah.
cook your own food, start learning
Oh,
skills, helping others. You're gonna fucking need it.
get you. Um, Brittany's nickname is
Well, people
Sunshine
people
Roses,
always are like,
everyone.
well, you're so negative. How are you gonna solve it? How you gonna solve it in 220 characters or less on Twitter? How are you gonna solve it? And it's like, well, how are you gonna solve it?
Oh,
That's it.
there's another one. How are you going to solve it?
That's
How are
it.
you going to solve it? Question
Go
mark.
around the system. Stop relying on it. They're not going to save you. The fucking rich ass people on Wall Street, Silicon Valley are not going to fucking save you.
Ooh, are you sure?
No, because
Yeah, I'm sure.
prison labor is lucrative.
Of course it is as she sips out of the Snarking Lot mug. Sip, 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 sip.
Mm-hmm.
You are
That's my
so
take.
funny. Yeah, I don't quite know if I fully get it. Wink. Just kidding. But I think I get it. I think I get it. Yeah, and this is where everyone who listens to this podcast so far realizes who the
They've
way
turned it
smarter
off.
one is in the group. And it's
They've turned it
Brittany.
off. We've lost so many people.
Oh my goodness. There's too much truthing happening.
The dollar store pearls are being clutched. Mostly because we can't afford Tiffany these days. The
We
fuck's
can't afford shit. That's right.
no.
We can't afford shit.
Unless you're selling Cankle pics on OnlyFans.
And well, I mean, if we still have people who want to come on still after you did that tirade, we'll have some interesting guests for season 2.
Well,
Should we give them a little preview?
I would find it interesting because I would find it interesting like how many people are somewhere in there actually.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally kidding, of
Or it's
course,
been so
but like,
funny to watch people commenting on again how there was lack of policy, but like at the same time we're talking about just you vote for who you think is going to do the best job, or like I don't have to agree, but then you fight with them once they're in office. Those were the same people before. I'm like, oh, but now you're all about they ran a terrible campaign. It's like, oh, still third party voters, still people who voted for other things. It's their fault. Like it's like I mean, I feel like a lot of people aren't that dumb. People are not that dumb. Like I feel
oh
like a lot of
nah.
people do somehow deep down. Like, but hey, I just want to cast my vote and go back to brunch, like I did
You
for
you drop
Netflix
the
and
term brunch
Chillery.
into so many conversations. It's insane. How many?
Well, nothing says I'm not privileged. Like I just want to go cast my vote and then not think about it again for 4 years.
I think that tone um really sets the mood that you just did with read that right
Yeah.
there. So, you know, should we give people a little preview what they can expect this season aside from your continued tirades? Like, because those are like always included. Should we let them know? Guest topics to include. All right.
Well, I don't
We're
know,
gonna
updates
talk
on
about
body counts over the world? No, not that.
we're gonna do some generational things, generational topics.
We are.
Um, intergenerational friendship,
Hell
which
yeah.
is near and dear to our hearts, both of us. And then like generational college experiences. We have someone who is intending to come on to talk about basically like we'll use our campus as like an example because we all went to the same school but years apart, And this person in particular had 2 years pre-COVID, and then COVID hit in the middle of college, and then 2 years post-COVID. So that's like another unique thing about this person, which is super exciting. So
Sound research, same environment, or well, same place,
yeah,
some of the research done to be able to compare. But
yeah, we
I
can
would assume that's
compare.
true of a lot of campuses and places around,
Yeah,
especially if you've ever maybe been back, if you went to college, if you've ever been back at your alma mater, been
yeah.
like, what the fuck's
Wow.
happening here?
What happened in here? Nobody
What?
debunked their bed
It's
like
like
in
a
90-degree humidity in here.
no, where they can keep it there and both sit up in their bed and not touch the ceiling. What?
Well, you know what I wish we would have kept? Quick, quick digression. Our little mini
Rocker
rocking chairs
chairs?
in red and turquoise.
Yeah.
I wish we still had those.
We could just do this that whole time. Like we could be doing that the whole time
Yeah,
we
I'd
were
just be
recording
like,
the podcast. Give people motion sickness.
yep,
They're watching.
yep. Boop, boop. Like we sat in front of our little TV, go back and forth, do it as a podcast.
Hmm.
That would be fun. We also obviously we grew up rural. We grew up in a rural farming community, so we want to get an expert on about someone who would have like decades worth of observations on rural life. So we're hoping that takes place. Um, any other ones you remember you're excited about, Brittany?
Well, I know
How's
we've
she got?
got one coming up on grief. I wouldn't say that's exciting, but maybe just something.
It's exciting to unpack it,
Yeah,
probably.
sure. Like luggage under a carrier. Yeah, just unpack that shit stuffed in.
Unpack
Just
that
like one of
shit.
those suitcases you had to sit on to close.
Yeah,
I'll probably
it's
be keeping mine
overflowing.
zipped up, but yeah, Cassie will be unpacking. Um,
Yeah, we'll unpack it. We'll
yeah,
unpack it. That'll
Cassie.
be good.
Um, something that I think a lot of people probably don't do anymore. Hashtag texting culture, but the power of writing.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. So, someone who recently published a book, fiction. Now, see, I'm a nonfiction person, but this person recently published a book, like, that whole thing, and like it's teaches a little college class in writing, I believe, and that kind of thing. So we can talk about that journey and just kind of like, this is me speaking now, the therapeutic qualities of writing, right? Like why and how do you get drawn to writing? It'll be fun.
You
It'll be
know,
fun.
you know.
So positive. Also, everyone's into side gig culture. You want to tell everyone about kind of the vision for that one?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like how you take a side gig from, side gig to my full-time focus, my full-time income, which I think is great given everyone air quotes, like thinking that they can do that, but like actually having someone on that has done it extremely successfully, I would argue. So, like, super, super solidly. So we kind of get the journey there because we know this person
Mhm.
well, but I don't know that we know that the intricacies of that story well,
No,
right? Like we've observed it happen on social media, but that's about it.
yeah, probably I'm sure it would be good. Some stuff to come out, some tips for everybody, because
Yeah.
I think that's also a thing, unless you really have a job you really like or you're really doing what you want now. I think everybody kind of dreams of like, what's that thing I could do and have more control of my time and my life, or what self-care, what's that thing that will help me?
Yes.
What's that thing I'm kind of good at that I'm like, you know what, I'd like to do this more often, like kind of thing. And probably, yes, I would assume some good tips for how to do that and set yourself up for success.
I sing it when I like something, I sing it out.
Yeah.
I think that
We're
will
gonna have a
be,
companion snarking lot. I don't call it like a now that's what I call holiday music part volume one, but
volume one.
we'll have a snarking lot hits, snarking lot songs, snarking lot
Wh-
sing-along songs that
What would
just
being a millennial be without a mixtape?
no, I mean if the
Or
fucking Philadelphia Eagles can sing that shit and make money on records, we can fucking do it.
all right, shall we crank through this last section? Shall we do our traditional round robin? See
Sure.
how we're doing? What are you currently reading?
We the Poisoned by Jordan Sheridan,
Love
about
that.
the Flint water crisis cover-up, which is still going on. BT
Always such
dubs, everybody.
sunshine and roses from you. Yet
Yeah,
again.
yeah, well, I mean, we haven't gotten to that part yet, but I mean, I know Michael Moore talks about that in one of his most
Mhm.
recent documentaries. I'm sure that people have seen it, the clip. Again, speaking of everything's terrible, it really doesn't fucking matter who's in office. Um,
Yeah, Flint's
brought
waters
to light under it.
is still poisonous, everyone. So, it's cool.
Yeah, it started under Obama. It's fine because then Obama went pretended to drink the water and told everybody that was fine, which turned off again. The people being impacted are primarily African American. Kind of turned them off then to voting for another Democrat in 2016, and we're like, what the fuck? He's not one of us. So
She's not done, everyone.
I'm not. So I haven't gotten that part, but this is so I Jordan Sheridan, he's on several kind of more independent things, but I know he was one of the ones who definitely he was started out doing election stuff, but really found this thing in Flint, went back. And so there's been a lot of interviews like with sources in Flint, people who are like, something's fucking off here. And right now we're in like governor sending people to shake down and threaten them or being like, shh, we'll help you, but don't tell anybody else. We'll pay for your lead and mercury poisoning treatment. Shh. Or we'll just
You
start
know,
following
you know what
you.
that reminds me of? I feel like we need Julia Roberts to come in and save us. Do you know what I'm referencing here?
Aaron Brockovich.
Yes, it's one of my favorite
No
movies.
kidding. Do you want to know who did the foreword to the book? Aaron Brockovich.
That's a I'm going to read that book.
It
That's
it's new.
amazing.
It like just came out, but he's been covering it because he's been on a lot of
Love it.
podcasts and a lot of things for all. But it just came out like this year. So yeah, it's called Exposing. It's We the People, but it's called Exposing the Cover Up, Exposing the Flint Water Crisis Cover Up and the Poisoning of 100,000 Americans. So it really goes in the history of
Mm,
like when they switched in the pipes, like when they
sure.
switched over the water sources, which is what
Wow.
caused it, bleaching. We haven't they've gotten into here yet because I'm not very far in, but I remember reading how many cities in the country have lead pipes and stuff as bad or worse than Flint, and Milwaukee being
Yeah.
one of them, and just all over
Yeah.
the country. So
Yep.
that it's not just happening there, it's happening everywhere. But I'm sure a few more billion to Ukraine will fix that, and Israel should just be a proxy war people. So again,
He's
this is what
not
I'm
done,
talking about.
everyone.
I talk about vapid bullshit from politicians. Like there are people hurting. But how many few seconds worth of political ads could have just been pulled in these cities to just revamp the pipes and fix it, but won't, and will continue to not happen.
I'm making
So,
faces over here for everyone who thinks I'm just being silent. I'm actually reacting to everything she's saying.
yeah,
Um,
I'm excited to hear about the culmination. And he's been on, like I said, I've been following it since he started reporting on it and all the trips he made and the fundraising he'd have to, because he's independent, the fundraising he'd have to do to like be able to like drive or fly to get to Flint to be able to like do the interviewing of people and like look at the evidence and shit and all the FOIA requests he had to do to like get the records of stuff from meetings. But he was just on a podcast recently and talked about a lot of the contents of the book. So the stuff now that like we haven't heard about. And it's not great. On a
not
scale of one
great.
to 10, it's not great. So
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's not great is a recurring theme. Maybe that's our title. There you go. On a
there
scale
you
of 1
go.
to 10, it's not great.
For anybody who wants
Um,
escapism.
I feel like we're on a water theme here because I'm going to start The Creeks Will Rise, which is about flooding. And was but just, like flooding rural small communities and like all of the mitigation efforts that do or do not happen. And so I had bought that after I went to a work event in which kind of the topic was to tour local communities and talk about how flooding had impacted communities as like the topic that gets everyone to like teaching about
Yeah,
collaboration and all this stuff. So I bought the book and I'm excited to read it. So we're totally on a
I want to
water
read that.
kick,
I want to read that one. Well, look at they can do a whole nother section of it, part two, based on
right?
hurricane. Speaking of people not being helped.
There you go. So that's mine. I'm excited about that one. I haven't started it yet, but it's sitting out. It's waiting for me, so that's good. Let's go to the, dumbest anything shit you've seen in the news. I think we kind of hit that really hard, personally. Um, you know, what you got?
Uh, I think I said it to you in pre-production, pre-recording, but
Preppy prep, my friend.
but um again, I'm just sitting back and watching either side get duped by shit. Um, Make America Healthy Again, great in
Uh-huh.
concept. And I was like, the rollout of this is going to get absolutely fucked up because there's money to,
Yeah.
it's called lobbying. And guess what? Candidate probably took it. And so yes, that lasted all of like part of a day or two
Mm-hmm.
election when I believe it's the chief of staff that got nominated or is going to be there.
Yeah.
Has ties to pharma and food and like crappy shit.
Oh, we
Um,
love that.
like
Good.
because we're companies that have those as clients. So yeah, so much for that. And then yeah, people being like, oh wait, what? I don't like this. And it's like, oh, kind of like you got lied to get your vote. Shit. Or again, you could have just followed the money from before and been like, that's probably not going to happen.
That's
But
probably not.
it is an issue that needs to be fixed. But
Yeah.
oops, oopsies. So yeah, watching the
Mine
cognitive dissonance.
oh, well, that's a theme. Maybe that's just the title, cognitive dissonance. Mine is um just was told to me basically just like infighting happening in the party and like blaming, like Biden blaming Harris, Harris blaming Biden, and like all the campaign staffers being mad at each other and running to the media and like all of that. So like the whole thing, like, did anybody learn anything? Answer no. So
Hey, that was supposed to be who you would vote for to save the country, and the
right.
election of morals for the soul of the country,
It was
allegedly.
also it was also the soul of the country in 2016, by the way. But
Yeah, well, it keeps happening every time. It's the most important election of our lives, and democracy is going to die. And I'm like,
it
oh,
is.
people died a long time ago, but whatever
We're
you have
not
to say,
actually awake or alive, just so you know.
yeah, yeah, just, but
Not real.
you know, no, well, nothing
Not
says
real.
democracy like not having a primary and just flipping somebody right in there to be your candidate.
Love that. What are your goals? I have a
Let's
big
do
goal.
send to the convention. We can't.
I've got a super benign goal for you. This is my goal. I am going to
What?
get on this theme trend that everyone's doing where we're just skipping right over Thanksgiving and just pretending we're going straight to Christmas.
God.
So I'm going to put up my Christmas decor in the
There you
next
go.
few days.
I've seen stuff already. It's like there are people the moment Thanksgiving or they're 12-foot tall weird ass skeletons and werewolves go somehow get deconstructed and shoved back down in their basement. Out come the Christmas lights. And you know what? That's fine. It's your house. You can fucking do that.
I'm excited
I'm
about it.
wondering how long it's going to take for there's a house like 3 blocks from me that hasn't those inflatable. They must have two corgis because they have two of those
Nice.
inflatable lit up corgis that are like sit facing out on their porch every time.
Nice.
They're not out yet, so I'm a bit disappointed, but I think that's good. I think people do whatever they want. Shit's already out in stores, so
It's America, baby.
yeah,
Do whatever I want.
right.
Freedom.
It all kind of just rolls
Freedom.
in, like all one big long stretch here of just yep,
What's your goal?
holidays.
You got simple, long term. What you got?
Um, no, I was gonna say something really like, oh, not laugh so much at people on social media. No, that's not
Well,
gonna happen.
it's always a goal. It's not
To
really
be
new.
realistic. I start dog sitting this coming week, and
Okay.
so my goal is to uh I don't know. My goal is to it's kind of out of my control, but not have my kidneys absolutely decimated by the dogs when they decide to get in bed or like lay down and throw themselves back down on me. I'll have to figure I'll starfish or something. I don't know.
Well,
I have really this is real minimal.
you have to have something in your
I
mind.
have to have
So anything
something.
is helpful. Anything is helpful.
Yeah,
That's
they're good
helpful.
dogs. So I don't know. No, I lied. My goal is so there one doesn't care about fireworks or loud noises. One is not about thunder. The protector of the house is
Okay.
not thunder booms, gunshots, nothing. And so I guess my goal for this time, because it happened the last time I watched them, and I was like, shit. I said they get a car ride every night, like in the
Oh,
vehicle, and they have the windows down, they get to go do their thing.
love it.
Um, And so sometimes we stop at Quick Trip and they get to share a Sammy. Um,
Lovely.
and so my goal is this time to not pull back in to like go in and like have them try to get out of the vehicle in the garage and have that be the exact time a neighbor randomly sets off a firework to the point
Oh,
that the chonky one is like gonna just hang out in the vehicle and I have to get on the other side where there's not room and like butt scooch her over and push her over until she basically falls out of the side of the vehicle. So no,
oh,
that's my goal. That's my goal is to somehow have the divine intervention of not choosing the exact moment where they can hear it in the garage and like have the one be like, absolutely not.
uh,
And
since you
so
brought up Quick Trip,
but yeah, they should be sponsored. They like a good chicken sandwich or hamburger or cheeseburger, I've discovered.
Brittany, do you want to tell everyone what I did
Oh my God.
before we go?
She just I would think it was an Onion article, but no, it's not. Cassie debuted a Glazer tin, like
Glazer
she's
tin.
a 1953
Hmm.
homemaker cooking up fucking cookies for the goddamn
Yeah,
church potluck.
like yeah,
Um, it's
I bought one, and you
you
get a
should
free
probably put it
box
on
of
social
Glazers.
media. You should probably put it on
I
social media.
will. I will. I've got you. You buy the tin, and you get a free box of Glazers to go with it.
Of course.
Um, and then you go check out Quick Trip social media, and they make a joke about like all of the uses for the tin, that have nothing to do with Glazers. Hilarious. So I had sent a picture of this tin to a friend. So here's what we'll leave it on this with the insane. You have to have some sort of joy in today's day and age, right? So send a picture of the tin. And I said, that's a tin. The donut boxes go in. Their swag store has matching shirts, I say, right? And this person said, I had no idea there was a swag store. And I go, enjoy. And I sent the link. And then they're like, wow, this is wild. How did I not know this existed? To which I responded, Brittany tells me that regularly that I'm insane for caring and knowing so much about this with a bunch of laugh emojis. So,
I think Quick Trip should give you royalties for the number of people you refer to their goods, their services, their swag shop, their swag store. They should be paying you now. Speaking of side gigs,
like, I am, if there's a golden bachelor and golden bachelorette, like, I am the golden ambassador. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think that's my new title.
I think so. Put that as your name next time. Quick Trip Gold Ambassador.
Tonight I will eat an entire pint of rookie dough ice cream from Quick Trip. Another product placement plug. So
Is that the ice cream you've been sustaining yourself on?
no, I actually had a variety of flavors. This is the first
Very
time
nice.
in a long time that I've had rookie dough, which is delightful. It's like chocolate chip cookie dough with
Ooh,
brownies in it and chocolate
ooh,
ice cream.
very
It's like
nice. Sounds
really
good.
delectable. Yeah, it's really
Mm,
really good.
mm.
Like fantastic. So shout out to Quick Trip. Before we go,
As
get yourself a
always,
glazer tin. If
ever
you need some
faithful.
joy, get yourself a glazer tin. It's beautiful. Um, do what you got to do out there, friends. Let's keep it real. Keep yourself happy, or as happy as you can be, right?
Sure.
We're not gonna toxic positivity you. We're just gonna tell you to do whatever you got to do to keep yourself sustained.
I feel like
You
this
know,
is the definition of not positive toxic positivity, this podcast. This episode in particular.
maybe that's the title. We always let the episode speak for itself, but maybe like not toxic positivity is like
Yeah, the opposite.
this is the opposite
Probably
of toxic positivity.
toxic on toxic negativeness, probably.
Toxic negativity.
This is more toxic than that fucking water in Flint. Probably what we're gonna get told.
All right, Brittany, you know what to do. This is another mainstay. We're excited to be back for season two. We're super jazzed to be kicking this stuff off again. Excited about our guests. Guests who will be coming on if you're listening. We're really jazzed to have you. Thumbs up, can't wait. And give everybody your ever classic sign off.
I feel like in this day and age, I needs to be said all the time. It is never more necessary than now, but always bring your logic to a dumb fight.
Awesome. With that, Brittany, bye.
Bye.